You ready?
Yeah. Wait, let me test my audio really. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Spooky. Everything's possessed.
Damn.
This house is haunted.
So I'm gonna have to.
What?
Well, I wanted to check my audio, but after that happened, I'm kind of considering just keep on going.
No dumb idea. No dumb idea. No dumb idea.
Submitted for the approval of the Kill Death Idea podcast. Grabs handful of cocaine, throws into the flame. Oh god, oh shit, sorry. Gib, you okay? I did not expect cocaine to be so flammable. What the fuck? Holy shit. You okay?
Yeah,
Gib?
yeah, just a little singed on the eyebrows. I'm good though.
Oh, I like it though. It's a nice little style actually. It made like a style like perfectly in your eyebrows. Well, I'm glad that me, Dala, am okay too. I'm patting myself, you know. Have no limbs, have no legs. Everything's here. It's okay. Well, I was going to share a scary story for this podcast, but I guess I'll just start off by saying that welcome to No Dumb Idea, a podcast about spooky, scary stuff in Halloween and dumb ideas mostly.
Yeah, mostly. It's mostly about dumb ideas.
Mostly. Ew.
Gibbledang here.
We did the intro,
I
I thought.
didn't say who I
That
was. I was waiting for a window.
Fair. I called you Gibbledang. Yeah, fair. But Gibbledang, tell me a scary story. What happened this week for you? What's
I
going
saw
on?
The Exorcist, and it was like one of the worst movies I've seen lately.
Yes.
I got this anonymous gift from Dala that
Ooh, anonymous.
requested that I open it up.
Could be from anyone.
Requested I open it up on podcast. So let's go ahead and see what it is.
Yeah. I do want to share that I think I gave you that gift like a month ago, and I said open this like later, essentially mid podcast, mid October. I mean. So, I just so that way you know, the audience knows how long you've been having to put that piece of shit box in
If it's
your.
on Xbox X, I'm gonna be real upset. It's not.
You don't want a PS5, all right. You don't want to play Spider-Man 2, I guess then, because I want to play Spider-Man 2.
I do want to play Spider-Man 2. You know, there's a bunch of leaks and like costumes coming out.
Oh yeah.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been trying not to see too much because I really want to go in as blind as possible, but I've been seeing some of the costumes in. They look pretty damn sick.
Yeah, I saw one today that I don't want to spoil, but looks pretty cool. If you know, you know.
I mean, I've probably seen
You
it.
probably haven't.
Yeah.
Just going off of that. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Fair.
All right. So it's a bag full of comics.
Nice.
Open it up. Sorry.
I will say they are in an order, so I would recommend keep them in that order, or
Okay.
as best you can.
So it's Millennium, the Ascension, Millennium Week
It's like
8.
issue 8, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Week
Which
8.
looks like it has, from the pages of the New Guardians, okay. Yeah, issue 1,
Oh, I can explain after if you need.
which leads to
Oh, New Guardians
the New
issue 1,
Guardians
yes.
issue 2. Okay.
Okay. Titularly.
After that leads to Catwoman, What Happens in the Jungle Slays in the Jungle. Nice. Issue 23. And then there's Catwoman issue 24. Direct follow-up after that. Batman Incorporated, issue 3. Okay.
The newer run, I will say.
Peacemaker tries hard.
Like the
to-
2023.
Oh wait, how do these?
Yes. Issue 2 and issue 4, I think. No 3 or 1, or any others after.
Issue 2 and issue 4. So are these all the
Thanks.
appearances
Do you
of
wanna-
Snowflame and fucking what's his face? Dr. Green, what's his name? The Floronic Man.
So yes, my good friend Gibbledang, you now are the owner of every appearance of Snowflame, plus a couple inaugural issues of the New Guardians, just to get the because Snowflame comes in issue 2. I wanted you to have the issue of all the Hemogoblin issues, which I think is just the one issue, and then you have to have Millennium to explain, Yeah, so you own every single
yeah.
issue, every appearance of Snowflame, which I want to add. Sometimes there's literally just one panel, but you got them. You got them all.
Awesome, dude. Just wait until the movie blows up and I become a gazillionaire.
I really wanted to, so you can get custom omnibuses made where you give them issues and then they bind them and they make them really fucking I wanted to do that, but when I looked it up, it's it takes half a year
No
to do. So I was
shit.
like, no, the momentum of that wouldn't
Yeah.
work.
Oh my god.
So
I'm sure you could find a way to DIY.
maybe next year I'll take them back from you. Oh yeah, I
This
probably
is
could,
awesome, though.
or probably figure it out.
I love
there you
this.
go. We expect a review, a full retrospective of all of Snowflame. I've actually heard, funny enough, that some of his appearances are actually pretty good. After they're not bad. He's not a terrible character. Funny enough. Happy Halloween, y'all.
Hey, thank you for the Halloween present. I am gonna do cocaine.
Yeah.
What about you?
Become
How's your
superpowered.
week been?
Yes, my spooky, scary week. It's been alright. It's been alright. Some highs, some lows. For my Halloween October recommendations, I think I'll get into is a couple of comics. Dylan Dog, pretty good comic. Not the movie.
The movie's
I
terrible.
will say the comic's pretty
But
fun.
the movie takes place in New Orleans.
Ooh.
We should rewatch it.
Why is that relevant?
Go on.
I mean, I'd be down. I did also read Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham, so
Hell
I'll give that
yeah.
a recommend. I will say I don't hate it. I don't like it as much as you probably do. I think it's
You
okay.
like it more?
It's fine. Oh yes, yeah. But I will say I'd give it a reco.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Reco Morty.
We should call our Halloween recommendations Halloween Rick and Morty's. That's a funny.
yes.
That's a good bit, right?
Yes, let's edit all the old episodes from this month and just add that.
Yeah. So what are your Halloween Rick and
shit.
Morty's for the month for the week again?
Yeah, my Halloween Rick and Morty's is a Dylan Dog, Batman, Doom That Came to Gotham.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been also into the mood of watching some giallos, or giallos. For those that don't, there's a genre of movie that's from Italy, usually proto slasher kind of murder mystery with black glove kind of killer, very stylized. So I've been kind of in the mood. So I've been kind of watching some, and so I actually got a little game for you, Gib. Real quick
Alright.
one. Because you have no real history of gialli,
That's
right?
fucked up, but
Or
no, I
giallos.
don't.
Well, one of my favorite things about giallo movies is that their titles are very fucking cool,
Okay.
in my opinion. So I'm gonna read you a list of giallo movies, and all you gotta do is just tell me if it's a real one or one I made up. So you ready?
kinda perfect.
Giallo Man. Yeah, Giallo Man.
Does that answer your question?
So the first one, Murder to the Tune of the Seven Black
Oh my
Notes.
god.
Is that a real?
Hell
or-
yeah, it is.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
That's real. It's called The Psychic for short.
Nice.
Yeah. Next one. Blood Red Are the Killer's Gloves.
No, not real.
No?
I
No?
don't think so. Yeah, I'm
You
pretty
sure? All right. You are correct. That is not real. That's one I made up.
That's funny.
This one's probably... Alright, next one. This one's probably my favorite. Your vice is a locked room and only I have the key.
Yeah, I do think that's a real one. It might be like a sexy bondage Jalo.
Funny enough, you're not wrong. It's very sexy of a movie. It's by Sergio Martino, and he's like notorious for like sex is a bigger component of his giallos. Yes, that is real. What about Four Flies on Gray Velvet?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's real.
Ding ding, yeah, shit. You're like, what is it? 5 for 5, 4 for 4, 5 for fighting.
4 for 4. The McDonald's 4 for 4, or was that Jack in the Box?
Yeah, 4 deal. I think it's Wendy's.
Ding ding ding! You're
Next
right.
one, Blood
that was
and
Wendy's.
Black Lace. Yes, I won the minigame in the minigame.
Next question.
Nice.
The
Blood and Black Lace.
Blood and Black Lace. That one isn't.
It's not real. That one is real. That one is by Mario Bava. A few more.
Okay.
Almost done.
Whew.
This one. You ready? Next one. Evelyn is the killer and you are dead.
I think that one is real.
That one's for sure my favorite, but it's not real. I made that up.
That's a great
It's
one.
like it's the dumbest.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! That's what I'm saying. These movies are so good.
What was the title of
next
what was
one?
that one again?
Yeah. Evelyn is the killer and you are dead.
Should come up with
it's
should
not
come up with
far
a plot
off,
for that
honestly.
one. That's a good one. Could do that later. Oh my god.
For sure. Oh yeah. That'll be the Jalo episode. Stay tuned. Who was it? Few more. Strange colors of your body's tears. The strange colors of your body's tears.
It's your body's tears, and it is real.
Yes, it is. You got both. Damn it. How do you know I have dyslexia? Next one. The iguana with the tongue of fire.
That's Godzilla, so I'm gonna say no.
That one is a real
What?
one. I will say. I've not
I feel
seen
like
it,
that
but
would have
it is
been
real.
you
Yeah.
looking around your room and being like, what do I do? Godzilla?
P, Tier, Griffin. Yes. All right, 3 more. This one's called Jalo.
Yeah, I think pretty sure there is just one called Jalo.
Ding ding, yeah, that's correct. It's actually starring Adrian Brody, and it's made by Dario Argento, one of the kings of the Giallo. We have 2 more.
Alright.
Second to last. Butterflies ring upon your death. Butterflies ring upon your death.
That one is real.
I appreciate that. It is a
Real
fake one. I'm
fake.
glad that I was able to trick you. Oh,
Gotcha.
shit. He got me. He got it. D's no. Last one. The Red Queen kills 7 times. The Red Queen kills 7 times.
I'm gonna say
Last one
that
For the
one
bank.
is fake as well.
Ooh, not only is it not fake, I have it in my hand
Damn.
right here. How have you not seen this movie? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, that was my fun game of Jalo or Jali.
Jalo or
As in-
Jalote?
Yeah, there you go. Jalont. No. Jali or Morty. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're Rick and Jalaменdations.
Yes. But yeah, no, check out those movies. All great. Or all the real ones. All the fake ones will be great when I get my money from the Fox Studio to make, to get those funded. Yeah, no, and then just the last thing, I guess, this week. Or, I think it was 2 weeks ago, actually. But I went to this art exhibit with, it was like a goth art exhibit. Because, horror kind of. It's cool. Great. Got some cool stuff. I got a little statue thing. It's pretty cool. It's in my bathroom, guarding of the
Guarding
bathroom.
your shit.
And then I got this. Yeah, guarding you while you take a shit. Always watching your back. And then I got this really cool art piece by a tattoo artist. I think she was from Santa Cruz, and she was up here, and she had some framed art that I liked, and there was one I liked particularly. It's like a hand holding like a naked lady, and it's pretty cool. It's like traditional art style. And so I got it. I was like, oh, this one's cool, and it's like one of the kind. And I was like, I really like this one. And she was kind of hesitant to like sell it, and I was like, oh, like, you know, I was like, I'll take this one. She's like, oh, like cool, like And I was like, what, like what's up? Like, is there? And she's like, well, no, this one's like a self-portrait, and so it's like very meaningful to me. But also it's like a self-portrait. And I looked, and like in the tattoo, in the artwork, the girl has a tattoo on her chest. And when I looked back at the artist, she had that same tattoo, and I was like, oh god, now I feel like I know what you look like naked, even though it's a cartoon. And it just felt weird. But she sold it, and I was like, all right, like it's still cool. And I mean, it was just very much like a weird experience to be.
She also could have not been like, oh fuck, I didn't mean to sell this piece. This was just showing off my talents, both literally and
yeah. And bodily, yeah,
my
and
bodily
mortally.
talents.
My
Rick and mortally
Yeah.
talents.
But that's what I was to say. God damn, this is the Rick and Morty episode if you haven't guessed. But yeah, no, it was just a weird interaction. I mean, I guess it was just it was very meaningful for her, and it's kind of, she was like hesitant to sell it.
She's like, I have a boyfriend, you creep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was like. I was kind of like, I hope she doesn't think I'm a creep for wanting it or something. And when she said it was her, I held it tighter and was like,
$1,000.
you're definitely getting the. Yeah. Ooh, yes, I'll pay you more.
That's fine. Do you have
Can
any
I
more?
sniff you
Oh
real
my
quick?
God. Terrible.
Yes. Does it smell like you too? But yeah, no, those are my spoopy week. All right, and so the last bit actually for my week is that I'm getting pretty damn fucking excited for Spider-Man 2 for the PS5.
I am too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we were talking about it a little bit. It's pretty. The first one's fucking great. Have you played the first one?
Oh yeah, actually.
Or Miles?
I beat the first one recently. I wanted to do all the like trial challenges, but for some reason my game kept crashing every time I would. So I'm at like 98% completion, but I've already finished like the entire game.
Yeah, you got the core of it.
Yeah, like I beat it.
It's like such a perfect game.
Oh, yeah, very moving. Very. I cried at the end of that one too when you're fighting Doc Ock. No spoilers.
Yeah. It's a good. It's like, I think it is like, and I'm saying this like almost unironically. It is like the titular Spider-Man game to play, like most accurate to like comic to game. Yeah. And even like the pathos in it and like the plot is all really good, even though it's like nothing crazy new. It's, you know, it's like bits and pieces from here and there, but it's just like really solid. Yeah. So I'm like definitely stoked for you know, the second one. I am kind of perplexed though that it is coming out in October, like the sequel. I feel like I don't know why October.
Maybe Venom.
Seem.
You know,
I guess like some horror.
But
actually, speaking of like Venom, you know, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about kind of like some of Spidey's villains, particularly like the horror themed ones, I guess, because it makes me kind of think Halloween, October, Spider-Man. You know, kind of just go over some of the famous ones, some of the least famous. I mean, like one off top of head for me is the 1000. I don't know if it's basically this bully. It's a bully from Peter Parker's high school. It's not Flash Thompson. Shut the fuck up. It's not Flash Thompson. I can hear you typing on the other side, commenting.
I was just about to
it
type it to you
is,
and be like, dude, it's Flash Thompson.
Yeah. Is it Flash from DC's The Flash? No. It's a bully, though, some other guy, some rando. He basically witnesses Peter Parker get bit by a spider and become radioactive, and so like he notices that it gives him power, so he eats the fucking spider thinking it'll, you know, give him powers, and he essentially, his body kind of decays and he turns into literally, I guess, like 1,000 spiders, which really isn't that many in the grand scheme.
I think we talked about that the other night. How many?
It's not much.
Spiders is like a cup of spiders, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe
yeah, they range.
Yeah, true.
They range sizes, but still, like the vast majority of them are not.
It'd be like the size of a 4-year-old running around.
Basically. Yeah, and so the power, I guess, of the 1,000 is essentially, I think it's they're pretty strong, but he can use like this flesh of people to kind of like a suit to contain him, and so it's kind of, you know, that's where like the horror kind of comes in.
No, okay, now I do remember more of him. Yeah.
And he decays.
I remember him like taking, what is it? Like he would disguise himself. I remember seeing an issue where he disguised himself as like a woman or something, and has to like, I forgot what it was, but I've seen panels like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I think it's like one of those things where the trope where it's like he has to replace his body over time, I think, because, you know, the skins or the like corpses decaying, and, you know, so he has to, and like Spider-Man has to fight, and it's like such a like, yeah. And also not to be confused with Spiders Man, who is like a Spider-Man made out of 1,000,000 spiders, which is more than 1,000.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that's one of like my first thoughts. I mean, do you have what are some of your favorite? I mean, I know you're a Morbin fan. I know you're the Lizard fan.
I do love Morbin. Lizard's okay. I do like Demo Goblin. I like the goblins a lot, but if we're talking specifically like horror related, I think Demo Goblin is up there. Pretty cool. Literal.
Yeah.
He's from the same dimension as Doppelganger. Hey, Doppelganger as well. They're both.
It's also it's like a.
They're both from like a demonic doppelganger dimension, I believe. Wait, no, just doppelganger is. Demo Goblin.
I was like, I think he's possessed.
Yeah,
right?
Demo Goblin is possessed by
like
a demon. And the demon just happens to look like a goblin.
A goblin. Well, are they really goblins? I mean,
it's a motif.
Like Green Goblin does not.
He kind of looks like a goblin.
I don't know if I would say goblin.
He does. He definitely does.
I'm thinking of the movie. I guess, where it's
Power
like,
Ranger.
yeah, I get, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I think it's the Hobgoblin, right? That one of the Hobgoblins that becomes possessed for
Jason
Demo Goblin.
Massendale, yeah, I think that was the Demo Goblin.
You know, the funny thing is, I remember him, like, he is definitely a Spider-Man villain, but I remember him most in, like, Ghost Rider books, always being, like, overly religious, too, which is the weirdest part.
Really?
It's a demon that's like, I will uphold God, you're sinning, fuck you. Like, that's his whole spiel, at least in the Ghost Rider books.
Interesting. I did not know that.
I don't know if it's that writer, or I don't know if that's called, it's weird. It's intriguing.
As Morbius would say, intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Morbin.
But I do love me some Morbin. Who else is there? Shit.
Well, I was going to say Morbin, I kind of want to bring up as a note, because there's, like, people might know, there's a Comics Code Authority back in, like, the 50s, 60s that kind of stopped a lot of horror for comics. But Morbin was, like, around the time that they, like, stopped, or they were, like, kind of, lightened the reins on horror on the code. And so that hence we got vampires and we got werewolves. Like, I think Werewolf at Night came out that time, and just other horror fiends. And so, like, and I think it's cool that they paired him in his first appearance with the Lizard, who's kind of like a pastiche of like a werewolf, but a lizard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got Doppelganger, you got Demo Goblin, really nice products of the 90s. There aren't too many other like scary Spider-Man villains. I guess, you could say the Venoms.
Those are his symbiotes, yeah.
Yeah, you got your Venoms, but then I think recently the scariest villain would probably be Kindred. Kindred. Have you heard of Kindred?
I do. I don't know much. I mean, if you know, feel free to share. I think it's something with Gwen Stacy or so. I think, but I could be wrong.
Honestly, I don't remember too much.
I've seen them. They're spooky.
He's like psychological torture mainly. But I want to say he might actually be like an evil version of Harry Osborn or something. I don't know. I think it might be a little convoluted.
Oh, I definitely remember hearing it was a terrible like reveal and not a good payoff for a villain. But yeah, I haven't read Spencer's run yet, so that's why I'm like not too sure. I just something about Gwen Stacy I thought, but maybe not. But I mean, it could be Harry or something, or an Osborn.
And then there's another newer villain I really like is Hollow's Eve. Have you heard of Hollow's Eve?
Oh, it's like a girl goblin, right?
She's like a girl goblin, but she's more of like a
like cooler
she's
than
pretty
that.
cool.
But yeah.
She's like really pale. She's got like an orange and black like Halloween theme, and she's got
Yeah.
instead of weapons, she has like masks that let her that like give her different abilities. So she'll put on like a
Oh,
ghost
like the
mask,
mask.
and then she'll go invisible or something like that. It's a really cool motif. I like her a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the design. I've definitely seen like in passing, like when I go to a comic shop or like just online. That's like a lot of the newer stuff. I kind of wait till it's out and kind of done to hear if it's like worth the read. Usually, plus I'm like usually backlogged with like shit from like 80s, 90s or whenever. Yeah, I was gonna say actually like funny enough, I think of one of the villains that I feel like I would say is like a horror villain. I mean, at least in Daredevil, like when he's used in Daredevil, he's kind of horror. And I feel like it's like the premise is pretty scary. Is funny enough, the Spot who actually comes in the Across the Spider-Verse.
I agree big time.
And I mean, I think like the main issues I could point to are like the ones in Daredevil by Mark Waid where he appears, where that one's like a bit more horrific overall because there's like contortionist. He kind of goes into himself.
He's an assassin in that one.
Yeah, and like there's plenty of issues of the Spot, I'm sure, that are like just him being a regular Joe Schmo kind of glubby guy. But I mean, even when you look at the movie, I feel like the Across the Spider-Verse, he kind of is portrayed as kind of like a scary, horrific villain because there's like
gets pushed over the
Miles
edge.
gets sucked in, you know. Yeah. So it's like, and that's one thing I like about the Spider-Man villains a lot of the times too, is oftentimes there's like some horrific characters, but it's horror through science like sci-fi. Like some Doc Ock thing went wrong, he got machines stuck to his back, and now we got the director of Evil Dead making him kind of creepy. Green Goblin, like he's a guy in a fucking suit, but he's crazy as hell, and you know it's creepy and all that. The titular mind worm, you know, he's a guy with the fucking who could control people with his mind, and he's like weird as fuck looking.
Mind worm isn't real.
You know, all this. Oh, he's real.
Son of a bitch.
This isn't. Yeah, he's a Jalo. Sorry, your mind worm is a Jalo. You got me.
Yeah.
No, he's real. He's like this guy that like stands on his hands, but his legs are crisscross, like he's like in a meditative position, and he can like I think control people like with his mind or kind of read people's minds. And so like I think the issue he comes out in, I think he's like in a room and he's controlling a mob to try to kill Spider-Man, and it's like kind of. I remember reading it and being kind of like, oh, this is kind of eerie. Like it's around the time of like, was it Man Wolf and Morbin and that like era, you know?
Oh, Man Wolf too.
Yeah. The other just horror themed characters. Yeah, I mean, I guess I will say too, like to jump back to symbiotes, like you mentioned earlier, like there's a lot of play with symbiotes, especially lately with Null, and there's Carnage. I mean, obviously from the fucking 90s and since then has been kind of like a he's almost like a slasher villain in a sense on it, like a Jason or a Freddy. I'd say more like a Freddy even actually. And the whole like concept of it is like eerie and creepy and just kind of fucked up. And again, it's aliens, science, sci-fi. Like I think Spider-Man works well with when it is horror. He works well with more sci-fi, science-based horror rather than just mystical usually. I mean, there's also like the what's the Inheritors? Is that the vampire dudes?
So. I think they are the Inheritors, yeah. The vampires with long hair and shit. Twilights.
Yeah, the Twilights. Mr. Twilight and his crew of Twilightians, of Mortys. I feel like personally, I don't really find them working too often usually.
Boring.
Yeah, and I think it's like they're more mystical rather than science-based. They're just kind of, I guess it's some science in the sense that they come from a different multiverse, but it still feels more mystical. I mean,
it's one of those things where like it's so weird how Spider-Man both works on a multiversal scale and like a street level scale,
like city.
But the best thing is like when he's just on his own, stories. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
like once the Inheritors get brought in, that's when it's like, oh, okay, this is the kind of story we're telling. All right. You know?
This is weird. Yeah, it's just contrivances to kind of get different Spider-Man and Spider cars and whatnots together. But But yeah, before we jump into the premise, I do want to go over the last, like, this is like the most, like, notorious or famous, I should say, maybe not notorious, famous, like, Spider-Man horror story, and I think you would agree, is Kraven's Last Hunt. I feel
That's
like is
exactly
a pretty
what I was thinking.
solid,
That's so
like,
funny. That's so
yeah,
funny.
I know you're a big fan. I mean, I'm a big fan as
I was
well.
gonna say that's.
Because it's got vermin.
Wow. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I think of it like, if I think Spider-Man and horror, that would probably be the first thing that comes in mind, because it's self-contained. It's got Vermin, who's like a rat werewolf-looking dude. Craven's like, it's very dark.
Psychological.
And I mean, I guess it'd be more of like a. You also say it might be more of like a drama or thriller, but there's like a lot of horror. And like Spider-Man gets shot, like he's essentially dead. There's like a scene where Kraven's eating a plate of spiders. It's really funny. I remember.
Really great thriller. Really, really intense. Yeah. No, I was gonna say that for like, but that's very much like psychological horror for sure.
Yeah. But you know, all this horror, all these villains kind of made me wonder, like, what if we made Spider-Man villains based with like horror kind of like premise? So I thought it'd be kind of fun, maybe go back and forth, and we each present a new character, and then we can we can create them whenever. Like if you want to be like, oh, this character's from the 50s, or I guess 60s, you know, he was before Spider-Man. Or if you want it to be like now, kind of just go over like their origin, maybe their like debut issue, like briefly, and then we can kind of just popcorn style. I mean, if you want, I can go first.
Yeah.
The first one I came up with is so Spider-Man's notorious for clones, you know, also kind of a horror pastiche, I guess, in like the way that it's kind of portrayed at times. And who's gotten cloned more than Spider-Man is Gwen. Gwen Stacy's been cloned a shit ton.
True.
Usually, you know, it's for Spider-Man to be like,
science.
oh god, Gwen, you're alive. Yeah. Well, I love it because he keeps getting fucking tricked, because every time he sees a clone, he's like, oh, is it the real one? Oh, God. And I feel guilt. And it's like, dude, it's like the 10th time.
Yeah, but maybe this time I could finally get answers. I could finally free myself of the guilt.
Yeah. But I created a character I'm calling Gwenenstein, who is essentially like a Frankenstein of pieces of all the Gwen clones that someone, maybe the Jackal's like, fuck it, I'm gonna combine them into like this big amorphous, like, just Frankenstein-esque creature. Maybe it has like some other characters that have died too, to kind of like get back at Spider-Man. He's like,
Is it Gwenenstein or is it Gwenenstein's monster?
It'd be Gwenenstein's monster then, I guess. So
Made by the Jackal.
a man named Gwenenstein. Yeah. Well, his real name is revealed to be Gwenenstein.
Ooh.
This takes place in the 90s, right after the Clone Saga. He's like, fuck, I lost, but I'm gonna use all these pieces of the Gwen and maybe some pieces of dead supervillains like Kraven and Doc
yeah,
Ock.
she
Yeah,
has
he died around the
Kraven's
90s.
vest.
Yeah, sewed into her chest. It's like, it's a fabric.
Yeah, only this part hurts.
Yeah. Haha, yeah. I have the senses of a lion, but only on my chest. I can.
Oh, you know what?
sense
No,
things.
if she's Gwenenstein, then she's got Kraven's vest, but she has like, I guess the lion on her chest is alive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like sewed
Yeah,
onto her
yeah.
chest. So she has like a mouth on her chest, on her like stomach.
She has
and,
Dr. Octopus's arms.
yeah, and then so the whole thing is like essentially, you know, like, Jackal made her to fuck with Spider-Man, kind of be like, you know what, fuck you. And so it's like got the memories of Gwen, but it also has like the urges of like a killer, maybe. Like it has like Sin Eater's brain in it as well, or
Jesus
something.
Christ.
And so it's like, so it's like Peter's like, holy shit, is this the real Gwen? I'm tricked again. Maybe it's the real one. Oh god. And I feel like, you know, he feels bad about punching her because it's still like Gwen, but she's like a fucking freak, like a religious freak. You know, go watch the last episode if you want to get that reference.
Freakazoid.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, you know, maybe he fights her and then they go to like a windmill and like that's where like, you know, he has to like knock her off a building. She falls into like a ocean and you think, you know, she's dead and she's gone and, you know, but to be continued. Or like, you know, is she, you know? Ooh, that is Gwenenstein's monster. Or Gwenenstein for short. What about you, Gib?
So, Yeah, that was sick. I love that. I love Gwen and Science Monster. I wonder how many Gwen clones there have been and how different they are. And also there's
a lot,
credence
yeah.
for her to be Carnage too, so that's always fun. Okay, so my villain I came up with, essentially it's like he serves the same purpose as Mr. Mind in the Shazam and like DC
okay.
universe, right? So
yeah,
this is
yeah.
gonna be the Spider, and it's gonna be I would say it's gonna be introduced
Ooh.
in the 70s, right? So this actually is gonna be the spider that bit Peter Parker. Now we're gonna say that it's like back then, before they like this is his origin or whatever, but in the way that Peter got
Yeah.
like radioactive powers, the spider gained like sentience and like intelligence of like a human and immediately
shit, I
starts
love that.
immediately starts like plotting its revenge and kind of like almost
Yeah.
very like dude, I'm thinking it would be the same ranks as like it'd be like Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and then the Spider, like the way that they're all like
The spider,
masterminds.
like a mastermind. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a tiny spider in the 70s at first, you know, like maybe there's an issue where it pilots a mech through through New York.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe like it gets pieces of like Spider Slayer to build its own like mech machine or
Yeah,
something.
until the 90s, right? Where everything gets super edgy,
Ooh.
and he gets hit with like or he creates like a genetic modification ray, and basically becomes like a full-on like Spider-Man hybrid. You know what I mean? I'm almost thinking
Of course, the 90s
kind
is
of like
fuck.
Alistair Smythe, or not like Man, or kind of like Man
Yeah.
Spider too, like a little bit like that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But
Like 90s-ify his ass.
90s-ify
He's
his
got pouches.
ass.
He's got big
He's,
muscles.
yeah, he's like stalking Spider-Man. He's like playing mind games with Spider-Man. And I'd say, I don't know how, but eventually his whole arc of ends with him killing Aunt May.
Ooh,
That's
shit,
the
okay.
kind of character
Damn.
that like the Spider would be.
Like the pathos.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that'd be like because he's so connected with Peter. I'm curious too. Does he know who Peter is, or Peter and Spider-Man are the same person, or from the get-go? Maybe he gets that knowledge from biting them, or is he able to deduce it or anything, or is it just
He would have
coincidental?
that knowledge, but he would be he would still have his own identity.
No, yeah. Not that that's what I meant. Like he knows who he is, but he's not like a symbiote. He's like, I know who he is, but I'm not gonna fucking sell this for
Yeah.
money to kind of Matt Gargan or any
Yeah.
of them. Nice. I like. Fuck, that's sick. I like
And
that.
then, maybe he disappears for a while. Shit, maybe he ends up fucking dying at one point, getting like complete, like, I don't know yet. But I imagine when the 2010s come back around, that this guy manages to, or the Spider manages to like somehow gain control over a Celestial, or like is able to like hijack a Celestial,
Mhm.
and basically kind of transcends to Eldritch, like Cthulhuan, like Eldritch god.
Oh, shit.
That
Okay.
from there,
Yeah.
because it's an event. You got to do big events. He would be like, he would be able to like manipulate all the spider totems. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man, Spider-Punk,
That'd be cool.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, so it's kind of just has like a full direct line to all spider totems: Madam Web,
Mhm.
Peter, Miles, Gwen, so forth.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
what
sick.
would
I like
happen,
that.
but
That's like super cool.
yeah, that's the spider.
Yeah, I feel like that would be. I guess my question too for there or two things is one is like I feel like that would be like a big event that's like Marvel universe wide, where it's like we all gotta stop them because they're making Peter and all the others turn evil, and like Daredevil's maybe the one that's first noticed like Peter, you kind of seem off, and he's like,
It's like Call of Cthulhu. It
I'm
could be very much
Peter.
like Call of Cthulhu, kind of like
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. They need to do like a horror like event. The one thing I was gonna ask though is at the end of this event or issue where he becomes like a god, does he get reverted back, or like what happens to does he become like a consciousness just floating in the breeze?
I don't know. Maybe, it probably would be like, it'd be like, oh, we barely, like, they would probably have to get, like, Doctor Strange or fucking maybe.
Like Thanos
It
or
would have to be
something
Doctor
big.
Strange and some, like, dimensional bullshit, and they would have to trap him in another dimension.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm loving that.
But it'd be one of those endings where it's like, oh, none of it felt good,
Yeah, it's like almost like a lose-lose. Maybe like Peter did some kind of atrocities while he was under control that he feels guilt for
Yeah.
still. And then he remembers, he like sees a photo of Gwen Stacy at the end. He's like, oh God, is that real? Is she real? Is this photo real? Oh God.
Yeah, and it'd be like,
It's a copy. It's a clone.
it'd be like a Spider-Man who's like mutating into like a weird fucking spider monster.
Yeah, man spider.
Basically.
Like S thing.
I just hate the man
Nice.
spider
I
design.
love fucking. Yeah, it's fine. I've seen worse. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. For my second one, as we last week we watched or last week's episode we watched Exorcist movies, so I needed to purge that. So I came up with a character very heavily inspired by the Exorcist franchise. Go check out that fucking review if you've not. And this person's called Demo Girl. I couldn't really think of a better name. Demo Girl. Essentially, she is a little girl that became possessed by the same demon that possessed Demo
Wow,
Goblin.
okay. Oh god.
Yeah, so I'm like, glad you mentioned Demo Goblin earlier. So you explained half of it for me. But yeah, so she basically becomes possessed, and then it's kind of just like a ripoff of The Exorcist, where like the mom first goes to medical stuff. Maybe she's like in like and maybe there'll be like little like in that first issues. I'm thinking, yeah, since it's Demo, it'd probably be more modern since Demo Goblin exists. Oh no, wait, no, maybe this is Proto. So this is like
Proto Goblin.
this will
Which is a
this will be before Demo Goblin. Yeah, another fucking goblin. Too many goblins, goddamn.
Oh,
No,
this is who
so this will be taking place in like the
1800s.
This issue will take place in like the late 70s, and so this will actually be before Demo
Nice.
Goblin,
Canon,
technically, like in
yeah.
canon, quote unquote. Yeah, so like maybe the mom takes the daughter to like Stark Hospital. It's like we get little cameos of like Stark Industry, like technology's not working.
Strange.
All the
She sees
techno.
Doctor
is-
Strange at
with-
Stark Hospital.
Well, no. I was thinking like you start with the medical stuff, and then then they go to Doctor Strange, and he's like, they try priest first, and that shit doesn't work or something. That maybe the Demo Girl's too powerful and like just too fucking wily, so they get Doctor Strange, who's like, well, I need to do this whole exorcist, but I need someone to like help fight her, and maybe like that's where he recruits Spider-Man, and then the two of them kind of team up, and they like go into the child's mind to free her from the demon and fight the Demo Goblin demon, and it's like a whole exorcist. Like it's just rip off of the Exorcist, except for Doctor Strange doesn't die in the end, I guess. And then cut to like maybe the 90s. We have like before the Demo Goblin issue, we have like a rip off of Exorcist 3 with Spider-Man and Demo Girl, where maybe Peter's like having a crisis of his faith, as we all know he's Jewish, so he's kind of like, fuck, but am I like And then there's a killer going around, and they're like, "Oh shit, who is it?" And it turns out it's the little girl. It's Demo Girl.
So
Demo
what's her
Girl.
like power set? What is she? Because Demo Goblin famously, goblin themed. What is Demo Girl?
Yeah,
Is she
Goblin
girl
powers.
themed?
Yeah, girl fights. She has a jump rope. She
okay.
has Barbies. She has roller skates.
Roller skates.
Roller skates. No, her she has roller skates, but it's like Danny Ketch's motorcycle where the wheels become flames and it's like cool as
Yeah,
shit.
there is
She's,
a character like
fucking
that now.
zipping up hills.
There is. Yeah.
Oh, with roller
So,
skate
Have you
Hellfire?
seen anything about Spider-Boy?
Yes. All right. No, Spider.
So,
Yeah. Does he have like a villain?
No,
That's-
so for those listening, Spider-Boy is like the new Spider-Man sidekick who is going to be retconned into his history, where it's like, oh yeah, I've been there the entire time, you don't remember me?
I've always been. Yeah.
But in like honoring his first, or yeah, in order to honor his like first ongoing or whatever, his first issue, they did a bunch of variant
Mhm.
covers for other superheroes where they had like a secret sidekick.
Oh,
Ghost
sidekicks.
Rider had one
Oh,
where
that's
she
cool.
was it was a girl in a skirt with like a helmet, and she
rollerblades.
had like fire pigtails and like
She has to have a helmet.
rollerblades. Yeah, it was super cool.
I love that. It's just so funny. It's like She has to have a helmet, even though she's probably got like a skull for a
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
head or some bullshit.
Safety first.
Just make sure your kids are safe. Yeah, yeah. And so I'm thinking like every now and then there's an Exorcist movie. They do an issue of Demo Girl where it's just kind of like just like a rip off of each Exorcist movie essentially. So the newest issue of Demo Girl sucks ass. Go listen to our review if you haven't to find out what happens to Demo
yeah.
Girl and her friend. I should say, I guess, 2 Demo Girls in that one.
They go to a roller skating
that's
competition.
Oh, oh God. Yeah. What about you? What?
So I'm not gonna lie. There was a point where I kind of forgot that they were horror themed, but this one can still be like the way it was.
Sure. Like I said, they could all be kind of horror-y in a sense.
Yeah, this one could very much, you could put a horror spin on it. I mean, once it gets to the 90s and, you know, considering her power set, this is Fun Gal. Let's say
Ooh,
she
scary.
debuted in the 70s, right? She's a flashy, pretty,
Sure.
pretty,
Pretty?
pretty criminal. No, she's a petty criminal. She uses spores as like, she has like a, I don't know if she might be a mutant.
Oh, that sounds.
You know, maybe she could be a mutant
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But she uses like different kinds of spores, almost like poison ivy too, to like paralyze her victims, to like put her fucking enemies to sleep. And yeah, I'm thinking it's kind of like typical. She has like a petty criminal stuff. Maybe she works with the Sinister Six in the beginning, and like she's very much like on Electro's kind of scale. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, like a B-list.
Yeah,
C-list
a little more
kinda?
B-list. But like around the 90s, that's when, you know, she gets like a relationship with Spider-Man, but she's also like an eco-terrorist, and she's causing like a bunch of environmental, like, well, I guess it wouldn't be disasters or anything, but she's like causing a bunch of overgrowth,
pandemic or
yeah,
something.
causing a bunch of people to get sick and
Oh,
stuff,
gotcha.
you know, or turning people into like zombies.
Yeah.
But she's still kind of like oh my god, you know, like I get why she's doing it because she wants to save the world, but like
Yeah.
she's fucking shit up. And Spider-Man is like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? But then, you know, maybe later, she's just like, oh, I've given up, you know, I've seen the error of my ways, and she turns to like the side of good, you know. Like I said, romantic interest to Spider-Man. But then...
You know what's so funny is I almost actually did a romantic interest of Spider-Man as well, but luckily didn't.
Nice. But then I imagine...
I mean, I guess Gwenstein, I guess.
True.
Yeah.
That's multiple right there, so you're all good. I imagine there being like Fun Gal 2, who is like maybe a disciple, or like someone who is like exposed to her
Ooh.
spores, but she kept like... She kept
yeah.
mutating and turning
Getting
into
mutated.
like a fucking, essentially like a clicker from like Last of Us or whatever. I imagine in the 2010s that there would be like a wide New York level event where it's like, oh my god, Fun Gal 2 has taken over all of New York, and it's only Spider-Man and Fun Gal 1 can go in there and take them.
we numbered them.
Dude, they always have
we
numbers, are you
purposely.
kidding me?
It's funny. Just on the news. Like, we're so stubborn, we're not gonna change their name, not the second one or any of that. Like, just 1 and 2. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, and yeah, I imagine the original Fun Gal would work on the side of good while being like, oh fuck, I should probably be more careful and not create these like Fun Gal monsters.
Evil, like these other numbered Fun
Yeah.
Gals.
So yeah.
Is Fun Gal 2, she's a person, right? You said they got it. Like, it's not like Swamp Thing, I guess, where it's like a plant that thought it was her, and like, but like when she was evil or something.
You know what? No, I like that more. What if it's like a mushroom that came to life? One of her mushrooms that like gained sentience,
Okay.
and is like, no,
And like,
you abandoned us.
yeah, it's like, I'm evil.
Ooh, the hive. Yeah, maybe she accidentally created a hive mind of like fungus.
Ooh.
And she was just,
Yeah. Shit. Then it's like more powerful than her.
yeah, and when
almost.
she turns to the side of good, they're like, "Oh, you abandoned us, and now we're gonna take back the city and shit like that."
Nice. I like. Yeah. No. Shit. This is some bangers. I mean, I feel like we talk about having like dumb ideas, but I feel like some of these have been
I
pretty
know,
solid.
this has
I
to
mean,
go on that Patreon we were talking
honestly.
about.
Yeah, oops, all good
Yeah.
ideas. Shit, nice. Well, for my last of my 3 villains, I'd say this is my favorite one personally. The name is John Wallace. So this one has a little bit of history behind. So in the 90s, there was an event called Planet of the Symbiotes, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but or for audience members is it's like an issue where basically symbiotes were invading Earth. It's like right around the time of the Clone Saga. It kind of sucks. It's been retconned several times. But during this time, John Wallace, he was kind of like an up-and-coming business owner, like a CEO of a business, kind of, whatever. But then the Planet of the Symbiotes happened, where they were teleporting in at symbiotes, and he was freaking out, having like, oh shit, what the fuck, like, oh god, these aliens. But at the same time, he was kind of like intrigued because he's kind of seeing what the powers that the symbiotes are having. Maybe he's seen Spider-Man and Venom on the news and Carnage and so forth. And so when this event happens, at the end of it, he manages to kind of steal off a piece of the teleporter from the symbiote. So this is like the 90s. So we smash cut modern day, or a few years ago when the Null invasion happened. And he's like, oh shit. Like, there's another invasion. Like, okay, since then he's been secretively studying. He has like a business that he kind of like, it's kind of like a side part of his business where he kind of has been studying symbiotes, from afar, trying to like scheme and come up with his plan. And during the Null invasion, again, like at the end of that, he manages with his team to kind of use, because he used the teleporter and some technology he got from the 90s to kind of fashion some device to capture symbiotes and kind of, he maybe gets like a good 20 of them or something, or like let's actually say like 100. He gets like 100 symbiotes and kind of pacifies them, and then essentially he has them and he kind of starts brainwashing them to kind of be a little bit more dormant but like applicable. And so like now we cut to modern day where there's these commercials coming on during Halloween time, and he's like advertising these new kids Halloween costumes that can morph into anything you want, and it's you come get them, and they're fucking flying off the shelves and stuff. And so Peter kind of like recognizes, like, oh, this is weird. Those are definitely fucking, him and Venom maybe are like teaming up, and they're like, those are definitely fucking symbiotes. But like, why are they like being like submissive to be costumes and shit? And so they kind of, it's like a mystery. Maybe Spider-Man. Actually, I'm gonna say Spider-Man teams up with, let's say, like, the daughter of some guy that died trying to solve that mystery. And so Spider-Man and that lady kind of team up, and they go around, and then they kind of are solving like this mystery of like, what are these suits? Like, why are, like, they're clearly symbiotes. We know what the fuck's going on. Spider-Man's, yeah. I was just literally about to say they go to a hotel. They're hooking up in the middle of this like midwestern town. And eventually they get to the John Wallace's like hideout, hangout, and they kind of find like he has like the teleporter, that piece of the teleporter from the 90s, like erected up, and he's kind of using that power to control the symbiotes. And his whole thing is like, I'm gonna I'm selling these symbiotes. We've bred them since the Null invasion, and we kind of have like 1 million, and these things are flying off the shelf, baby. Watch this commercial, and it's like doot deep doot deep doot deep doot deep doot deep, and it sings a song, and then essentially like he finds out that the plan is that like he's trying to like cause like a new world order kind of with these like symbiotes, and kind of maybe he's like I think I'm the symbiote god, but I don't, I'm gonna control them. And like I want to bring Null here, and we can reign in like in equality. And I mean, I saw you nodding earlier. I think you get the rep, like where I got this idea is from Halloween 3.
It's funny because I think Carnage did something similar to that with. No,
Oh, did he?
Well,
No
he
shit.
had the goal of like it was him when he was going around and gathering all the codexes from everyone who's ever worn a symbiote. So
yeah.
it's basically if you had worn a symbiote and had it taken off of you, it implants a little bit of its DNA inside of you so that it like is able to. What is it? it could like call
It's, like,
to
able to
you,
connect
or it
with
could
you, like,
connect to you like
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly, like Wi-Fi.
Or Bluetooth, I should say.
Yeah, and so Carnage went
Yeah,
around
shit.
taking all
mean-
that from people and killing a bunch of people, and in order to try to get closer to Null. Yeah, I guess it's like the reverse of what
Hmm.
you said.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, and what's funny is like the way I got to this is like I was like originally like I want a symbiote, but then I was like I think you might choose a symbiote, so I was kind of like, well, how do I get a symbiote but not on a guy? And I was kind of like, well, what if someone like sold symbiotes as like a thing, and that was like their plan, and it just was like, oh, I just created Halloween 3, so I was kind of like, let me just get the name of like John Carpenter and what's his name, Tommy Lee Wallace, and just John Wallace, and he's a business guy, and it's literally just Halloween 3, but it's like. And I was kind of like seeing like, oh, like there's the planet of the symbiote. You could take the teleporter, and I just think it was like it'd be cool. I guess maybe for him, maybe he wants to control Null, and it will be the change and then tweak just to kind of be a little different.
Okay,
And so it's like
I like that. You always need a good business.
I love that. Like the oh yeah, I love that. The minute I said that, like, no, there's a lady and her dad died. You were like, and then they fuck. And like
I
on.
caught on before that. I was just like.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I was more of like, okay, how
I could
far are you
see-
gonna be going into the Halloween 3 plot?
Honestly, I would not have the woman part. It'd maybe be Venom or Carnage or some shit.
fucks
Maybe
Venom?
Carnage to make it more interesting. Yeah, he has to fuck
Nice.
Carnage. But yeah, no, that's those are my three.
Nice.
My three villains.
I like them. Yeah, the last one I have is, yeah, at this point I completely forgot about the whole horror premise, and but thinking about it now,
This one's Christmas Man.
it's Happiness Man. Thinking about it now, I
Yeah.
definitely think that it could be turned like easily into something.
What's
horror.
the thing? A lot of these, I feel like a lot of these villains, in general, but especially like Spider-Man villains, can be like you just gotta give them that right shade of black, or like that like the right artist or something, and you can get going. Because like Kraven wouldn't be like inherently like a horror character, but then you see Kraven's Last Hunt, and he's like king horror.
Well, speaking of Kraven the Hunter, we got Bolas the Bounty Hunter. Yeah, he's gonna be a biker themed supervillain. Very much in the 70s, kind of starts off as like a cowboy. Like tassels, handlebar
Love it, love it.
mustache, like fucking maybe shotgun, club, weapons. Very much like a Western version of Kraven the Hunter. Rides a
Bolas.
Bolas. Like the
Bolas.
things you, and that's the signature weapon.
yeah,
Swings a
Bolas.
Bolas at Spider-Man as he's swinging through
Spidey.
and so he's got a motorcycle that could ride vertically up buildings. Kind of like Ghost Rider. In fact, I have it written that he fights Ghost Rider often.
Nice. Of course,
And
as many Spider-Man villains.
I'm
do.
thinking that he's one of those villains where, like, kind of like the Spot, he's a joke in the 70s, but then he comes back in the, in the mid 2000s and gets a kind of like a revamp that puts him on a different power level. I can imagine Bolas coming back as straight up like a cyborg, or like the Terminator. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit,
With
okay.
like
Yeah.
the one goal is to capture and kill Spider-Man. But I'm thinking it's much more of like a brute force thing, like almost like It Follows, but like he has a motorcycle. It's gonna be one thing where it's like Spider-Man, maybe he takes him down in like Central Park or something and fucking chains him up, and like he fizzles out of energy, and it's like, oh boy, that's good. But then like an hour later, dude wakes up, Peter Parker's back in his apartment, and he just like makes his way back to him, like just the unstoppable force that really like doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to sleep, that will just constantly like go after Peter Parker. Yeah, I can imagine it, like Peter Parker sleeping and this thing just like smashes through his like door, like setting off his like spider sense. I don't know, just very much like a Spider-Man versus Terminator kind of premise.
Yeah, I kind of like that, like this unstoppable thing.
No time I don't know when I can rest. I don't know, like it doesn't care about my
Yeah.
identity. it just knows that it has to kill me,
Yeah.
and it's just constantly coming after me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I think originally I was thinking of like, because I forgot about the horror premise. I was thinking of just like a classic
good.
kind of like, oh, what if it was like a Western themed like bounty hunter kind of
Yeah.
rough and tough, gruff like villain, and I had an idea where
I mean, I'll say the robot part I feel like is horror enough,
Oh, yeah.
to be honest. But,
it'd be one
yeah.
thing where like Spider-Man has to punch full force and he just punch like it's like Terminator, where he punches half the face off or something. It's like it shows the
Nice.
the bits.
Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck.
The skull, the
Yeah.
chrome.
But I always want to see a story, and I feel like it'd be appropriate with this. It could be like, he's a like,
Mhm.
the dude, he has to, let's say Bolas has to capture Spider-Man and take him all the way to California. Spider-Man comes to in the middle of like the Grand Canyon, and fucking it's like this final showdown between Bolas and like and Spider-Man. Spider-Man wins, but then it's like, oh fuck, how do I get back to New York from here? But I know now it's easier because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, call the Avengers, or oh, call that. But it's like, that's not the interesting story that I want to see.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Like, I want to see,
like you want to see him do like a cross country
Yeah.
trip while he's probably being chased by Bolas.
well,
I
maybe not
imagine.
even a, well, originally, yeah. So if
Yeah.
in general, I want to see
Yeah.
a Spider-Man story where he has to go cross country.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he has to be chased by Bolas, but yeah.
I mean, in general, I think, yeah. But then no Avengers, no fucking
Yeah.
helicarrier
Just
or
have it
any
be in the 60s.
Hello Kitty or any of
Just
that.
have it be in the 60s. Have it be like, yeah, he,
Yeah, shit, just General Peter Parker.
But yeah, that's Bolas right there.
Nice. You know what I'm just realizing? We got ourselves a real Salacious Six going on, actually. So why don't we like, what if these six people? What is it? We have Gwenenstein, the Spider, Demo Girl, and we have Fun Gal, John Wallace, and Bolas. What if we like came up together with like an issue of how they come up to it, become a team of like villains?
Okay. So right off the bat, I think that the Spider and John Wallace would be the
Okay.
leaders.
That's brains.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking like the Spider even. Well, it's like a Doctor Doom like Kang story where they're trying to one up each other too, but like secretively. But yeah, they're like, I'm the brains. No, I'm the brains.
Well,
but you're a fucking spider.
The Spider is definitely gonna betray
the team.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so I kind of imagine this team, like I don't know, like the way this team would
Mhm.
work. They'd probably only form once in like the 90s, but then that would be like influence everything from their characters like after that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I mean, that's kind of how the Sinister Six was. They showed up in like the 60s, and then the next time they showed up was in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a 30-year. So like, and it was, So yeah. So, but yeah, sorry, go on.
I do think that the 90s is like the best era for the Sinister Six in general. Like, I always think of the artwork, the stories.
You talking about? Oh yeah. The Eric Larson
Yeah.
ones.
But yeah.
Yeah, Revenge and yeah. But
I
yeah,
definitely
go on.
think at this point maybe the Spider is still like just a tiny little spider. You know what I mean? Maybe he hasn't.
Sure. No mech
Maybe
suit?
no. Well, I'll get into that. But I'm
Okay.
thinking, yeah, maybe he teams up with John Wallace in order to spread his influence and like get the ball rolling on
Yeah.
the mass not incarceration. What is it? Taking over the masses.
Like ruling the
Yeah.
world. Yeah. So and then John Wallace also like is kind of like the Doctor Doom to the King, where he wants to one up him a bit there too. But he's like, oh, I can use him to my own means, and then usurp him later.
And meanwhile, he's protected by his bodyguard, Bolas, giant cyborg. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. Like he paid, yeah. Perfect. And then, okay, so now we still need. I'm trying to think. Maybe like. So Gwenenstein hasn't been seen since like the 70s. is in the lake. Maybe like she's, what is it, his factory of his business or whatever is kind of like feeds into like the lake, and that's kind of where she comes in. Like they're like, hey sir, like we found this like mass. And so John Wallace and Bolas, and well, the spider's there too, but I mean obviously like the Bolas and John Wallace kind of help pick out Gwenenstein and kind of like be like, oh, like this, I remember this lady, I remember seeing her in the news in the 70s when I was a wee little lad, and I think she'd be perfect. So like they continue to like repair her too, kind of. Maybe he uses some of his like symbiote technology that he got to kind of like repair her in the meantime.
So she's like almost like Solomon Grundy, kind of.
Oh yeah. For Gwenenstein, she'd be like Solomon Grundy. They just kind of need to like give her some volts of lightning or some, you know, some quote unquote volts of lightning. What I was gonna say, what fun gal are we on? 1 or 2?
One. I'd say 1 for sure, because I think this would be like whatever they pull off for the Sinister Six or whatever. It's gonna be enough to make her be like, oh yeah, fuck this villain shit. I'm not like I fucked up pretty bad.
This is the turning point for her.
They're like, oh, let's use your spores to kind of influence people, and you know, find a way to like use like they're putting together all these different pieces of the puzzle. Puzzle pussy.
Oh god,
puzzle.
You know, the team that Tobey Maguire is part of with Leonardo.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then maybe at like the same time as all this is going on, you know, there's like some more Demo girl like things going on in like a neighborhood. I'm thinking for her, I think she kind of almost stumbles into the team at
Does
first.
John
What's
Wallace
up?
have a daughter? Does he have a daughter that like he could like?
That it could be like possessed.
Yeah,
maybe.
that he keeps like locked
Maybe
up
that's
home
what
or
it-
some shit. Like, yeah. Did you ever read The Walking Dead with the governor? How like the governor?
No.
So it turns out he had like a
He had like a
zombie
like a
daughter.
zombie
yeah,
girl.
Oh, like throughout this.
Zotter.
Zussy.
Just, I don't like that one personally.
Cut that out.
Oh shit! No, that's it's not that bad. It's just it's like.
Yeah,
But,
zombie daughter.
So like maybe.
But yeah,
wow.
maybe.
I'm trying to.
I mean,
Okay.
unless you want to have it be
'Cause
like,
I'm thinking,
oh,
like,
John Wallace's daughter was the girl that was possessed the entire time, and he just locked her in an insane asylum because she's psycho.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because my original thought right now was kind of just maybe there was like the initial fight with Spider-Man, and it's like Gwenenstein, John Wallace, Bolas, so far, and then like, you know, maybe they knock over a building that coincidentally Demo grow, or maybe she's out and about like causing mayhem, and she's like, ooh, like mayhem, and she like jumps in and she's like, I'm gonna.
I
join
guess
you.
I'm the 5th
Like,
member of the Sinister Six, or the 6th member of the Sinister Five. I don't know. That doesn't really seem too.
I don't know, I think.
And then what if she was there?
I guess I'm getting it too. No, but I do like that. Maybe I'm thinking maybe she could be like the niece or something. Like she's like some kind of relative where she's connected, and maybe she's staying over, or maybe no. You know what? No, he's a divorce. So he's a dad, but it's divorcee. So now he has custody of her for like the week, and you know, maybe there's like, again with the frequencies of his like symbiote machine, he's kind of fucking with it, and it kind of causes like the Demo Goblin demon to kind of possess Demo Girl, and that's where she comes in, and she's like, ooh, you like naughty daddy, I want to join your team, this Salacious Six, as if you will. Oh, I don't we'll find a name for him after we get the team together. So then what, we have Fun Gal left, I think, right?
No, I already said Fungal.
How does she join, I guess?
Probably because rumblings of a team being built that wants to change the world, and I think an idealistic Fungal would want to participate in that.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So then the team kind of comes together, and most of them want to just kind of kill Spider-Man, or just kind of like Demo Girl, Gwenenstein, kind of just seem to want to just destroy shit, kind of just nonchalantly, where John Wallace and the Spider kind of have their own little machinations that they kind of butt head, and then it's that classic story of like your own undoing is your own self, your own team. You know, the spider like one-ups John Wallace and gets like a mech. Is this shit? I was gonna say, is this where he gets his mech suit and maybe he becomes like that 90s-ified version?
Well, he doesn't get a mech suit. I think maybe John Wallace helps with the experiment that mutates him into like the spider-human hybrid.
Yeah, so that's where he gets like that change. I like this.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, shit, we're coming together.
A real spooky team.
Ooh, actually, yeah. What should they be like the Spooky Six or what's their like?
The Insidious
come up
Six.
with it's not Sinister. Ooh,
Yeah.
is that real? That sounds like too
No, that's real. That's
okay.
what
Damn it.
the 90s cartoon had to call the Sinister Six because they couldn't call it Sinister.
Sinister. That's right. Because that's what I was like. It sounds so familiar. That's so stupid. Insidious sounds so much worse, but. I mean, fuck it. If it's not being used, I would say let's take it. Like, honestly, that works too well.
Yeah, I think
Insidious
it's been
6?
used.
Oh, is it? Damn it. Okay.
I think so.
What else? Could
Stupendous, the Spider Six.
be... Shit, fuck it. Spider's 6. Like, it's like his band of, like, brothers, essentially. Serial Killer 6.
The Superior 6.
Slice.
The Serial
Yeah.
6.
I think Spider's 6. Serial 6. I mean, Salacious 6 sounds so sexy, but just too sexy.
You know what sounds sexy? Sexual.
Hmm.
The Sexual 6.
Oh, Sexual 6? Oh. Yeah, and then they're all just really fucking horny. All of them. Although I don't really know if Demo Girl needs... Well, I guess she probably would be because she's bizarre. So, fucking, yeah. Alright, so that's, like, name aside. You know, that's the 90s. It sounds like they break up. I mean, shit, it leads to Spider eventually getting to where he's at now, and Fungal quits the team, or becomes, you know, he'll turn. You know, let's say it's modern day. Is there, like, a part 2, like, you know, kind of like the revenge of the Spider's 6, or the Sexual 6, or whatever the team is?
So I think, right?
Like a modern one?
I think it'd be like Fun Gal 2. She, since they're the hive mind, they're gonna be the ones that are like, no, we have to completely destroy the world. We have to like fucking. I guess that's also Ends of the Earth though. I feel like that story was already done with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I mean, every single one has.
We'll do it smaller then. We gotta destroy New York.
Yeah. Just this borough of New York.
Yeah, so they
Okay, so Fungal's the like initiator of this. Actually, one thing I was gonna add that I kind of like. What if like Fungal resurrects? Like, let's say Gwendenstein died in the '90s, like she got torn to pieces, but maybe Fungal kind of resurrects that corpse as like a fungus-esque version of itself too. So it's kind of like part of the hive
She's
mind.
gonna get resurrected a third time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck it. That's her
Okay.
thing.
Then yeah, she becomes like a giant spore monster.
Like creature with like some form of conscious of Gwen, but like also of the hive and also of Sin Eater.
And then who else do we have? Bolas. I think Bolas would you know what, let's say this is Bolas 2. Bolas 2 is
Okay.
the
robot
robot.
too?
And let's say the first Bolas, the one in
Gotcha.
the 70s, is just like a cyborg.
Okay.
So the second one full on.
So Bolas,
Oh, you know what? Bolas
Full-on
2
robot.
is the same guy, but now he's just a full-on robot.
it's like a brain in a or like microchip, like a brain in a microchip chip.
It's a brain
speak.
in a microchip in a mecha suit.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
And then
Ooh. Okay. Well, yeah. Go on.
the spider. Damn, is the spider?
like Eldritch
is it
Horror
Eldritch
now.
God now. Ooh.
I'm thinking like John Wallace can like be the connecting piece for the like whether he like goes with like the symbiotes up there or if he like uses like a teleporter or something.
So you think John Wallace pulls him from?
Or like some form of like I think he would be the best to be like the connection to space and back. Maybe he has like a new space program It's like uses symbiote technology or symbiotes
fair,
itself.
fair. Yeah, before they cast out the spider into like the nothing zone, they just turn it back. They turn it back into the little spider. So it goes from being like the
Okay,
regular
yeah.
spider to like the humanoid mix to an eldritch god to like back to like a little spider.
I feel like that's pretty like common. I feel like comics do that where it's like, okay, now modern days it's like let's just get the original costume or like the I feel like that's pretty much a trope
And
now.
he's gonna be calling.
That's
He's gonna be
perfect.
calling himself the Spider One. 'Cause he is the one.
Why are they all numbered?
He is the one and only.
All these
Spider.
characters. Yeah. Ooh, what if John Wallace gave him a symbiote, the spider? So it's like a spider with a symbiote.
Interesting. Ooh.
I don't know. I'm just kind of. I mean, just in general, I'm kind of curious what that would be like. But I actually will say, I think. Ooh. I'm trying to think of Demo Girl, how I want to handle her. Because, I mean, by now she would be like. Maybe it's his
Demo
granddaughter this time. Well, I was going to say, maybe it's like still a girl. It could be. It'll be Demo Girl 2. You know, the daughter of the original Demo
Maybe
Girl.
it's like a.
That gets possessed.
Maybe she. Maybe it's like it is the same. It's like it is Demo Woman, but she's like
Okay.
she's like Dr. Jekyll and hiding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
hiding it. Yeah, like shit like comes out every now and then. Maybe it's like Trigger. Oh, you know what? No, I know it. Okay, so it'll be Demo Woman, but John Wallace used some of his like technology, like it since the last thing, to kind of like suppress the demon, and then he can use it whenever he wants, like to come out of her. So he's like pumpernickel, and then she turns into like, oh, it's me again, and so it's kind of like he has her on
Oh,
the
I
tip
see,
of
I
his
see.
finger, like, oh, I've weaponized my daughter essentially
And she's like,
as like a backup.
yeah, she's like his bodyguard, like fucking
I was like a secret bodyguard,
like Lex Luthor.
kind of like
Lex Luthor has
like a Manchurian candidate or
yeah,
something
that too.
almost.
hell yeah.
So now we got our crew back together. What's like their plan this time? What are you thinking? And this is probably gonna be like an event size, a second event, I guess. Shit. Because we just had the spider had his own event.
Yeah, now the spider's not doing much. They're just destroying New York City. Zombies? Spore?
Ooh, oh yeah, because Fungal is like the. one of
That's
the
right.
big-
That's what we were talking about. Fungal
Yeah.
having to come back and be like, "Oh God, you gotta take it out."
Yeah. So maybe like it could be John Wallace this time is more of like just kind of like the tech guy where he's like, I supply the like supplies and the base, and maybe he has like pharmaceuticals that go out with like spores that kind of help with some of the like the initial like invasion.
Yeah. He's like, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Yeah. And then what's the spider is like, I guess because he's like a celestial, or no, he's back to a spider now.
Back to a spider.
But what's like his
The spider is gonna realize that I don't know. It's probably gonna be a revenge story. You know what? The spider's gonna. That's when he's finally gonna turn the Bolas into a mech. He's gonna like crawl inside Bolas, eat
okay.
its brain, and then like pilot it, and then that's gonna lead to like the one-on-one showdown.
that'll be his.
That leads to the
Gotcha.
one-on-one showdown in
That'd
the
be
Grand
sick,
Canyon with Bolas and the spider, or with with Spider-Man and the spider inside of Bolas, and it's gonna be like Spider-Man or like Bolas is gonna go nuclear or some shit, and he's like, "I'm gonna take you out with me," and Spider-Man's gotta beat him in a certain amount of time and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. I'm liking this. Yeah, and then that's like kind of like where him and Spider Boy and like some of the team just kind of like need to come together, and maybe he forms his own. Maybe he does a Spider Six, and then we can call. I was thinking maybe like we call the other team like the Shock Six or Shocking Six,
the
or
Shocking Six,
Screaming Six. I don't know.
the Scrupulous Six,
Because I'm trying to think of other like horror Scrupulous Six, Scary
the
Six.
Shocking Six is cool.
But yeah, basically, it's like a showdown between the Spider Six and the Shocking Six, and it's kind of like this. Get some cool cover art of just like the two teams, and yeah, I mean, shit. Nice. I'm loving this team. Oh yeah, no, these are some dope ass ideas. So you hear these? This is our brainstorm. So we're switching from Flux Studio to Marvel Studios to write some comics.
Check us
listeners,
out.
So stay tuned. Yeah, but yeah, before we should get going, what shall you be plugging? Mr. Gibb?
Not much to plug. Just take some time to do something you love. Draw, write, listen to music, eat some good food. Watch a good movie.
Ooh.
Don't watch Exorcist. Go watch Blue Beetle or something. Or actually no. Watch Exorcist 3, which honestly might be the best Exorcist movie. But obviously it doesn't work without the first one. So not like you have to watch the first
No, it
one.
does.
Yeah, not like you have to watch the first one. More of like it wouldn't exist without the first one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's the best
Gotcha,
one.
gotcha.
Yeah, not much else to plug. What about you, Dala?
Yeah, I'll plug the usuals. You know, follow us on Instagram. We have the No Dumb Idea Instagram. I'm at Dala.art. We got Gibbledang. Follow him. He's got some cool customs coming
Yeah.
out. I think for
Forgot
sale,
about
right?
that too. Yeah, I'm selling
So-
some stuff right now. If you're interested,
Yeah.
go and check that out. Got it posted on my Gibbledang Instagram page.
It's good shit.
Thank you.
Good shit. Yeah, FDA approved.
FDA, Comics Authority.
Yeah, and then follow us on your podcasts of choice. Watch some scary movies this season. You know, take care of yourself. Do some fun horror Halloween spooky
Spooky, but nothing
things.
too spooky. All right. Still got to get home by 6.
Yeah, we don't want to go. What are you, fucking the dad from Exorcist
Yeah.
Believer? God damn it! All right, that's it from us. Thanks for listening. Take care and have a good
Bye,
one.
everybody.